Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I am back with another little video here to talk about Night Thrasher. Now, when he first came in, there wasn't a whole lot of hype around this guy, so, you know, I went through my normal, picked him up as a 3-star, and I just, you know, want to see how underrated he is. You know, a lot of people feel like he's kind of like meh, so I don't know. I wanted to kind of get my own thoughts and get you guys' thoughts on him as well, so I made the decision to, you know, check him out, play around with him a little bit, see how we can go. So this is him unawakened right now, but we're gonna level him up and get him all the way, get him some nice and shiny silver stars. Please excuse my voice, I'm kind of ill. So let's go ahead and look at his stats right now. And of course, you know, this is just coming in comparing him with the other 3 stars. So his attack, you know, it's a little bit below average at 458. Not that great, not that bad either. His critical damage is a little bit above average at 650, but his critical rating, he's a little above average also at 585. Now his health here, it's you know, it's about average. Seems like the consistency with all of his stats at 6248. His block proficiency with that skateboard, though, is actually above average at 4216. And of course, his armor is a little bit above average at 161. So let's go ahead and take a look at his awakened ability called Bored to Death. And so he has a lot of different abilities, and they all kind of work together. This is a champ that, you know, you're going to want to use different tactics to make different things happen. So let's take a look at his heavy attacks. Heavy attacks have a an X% chance to activate a gadget debuff to inflict taunt, reducing the opponent's attack by 40% and increasing their special attack activation chance by 70% for 10 seconds. So, you know, this taunt is just like Starkey's, which I think is pretty cool. We've got another champ that can taunt. Striking a taunted opponent with a skateboard attack grants a permanent fury buff, increasing attack by X for a maximum of 10 seconds. However, when you're knocked down, you lose those buffs. So, don't get hit. And so, after being knocked down, though, Night Thrasher has an X% chance to purify all debuffs. So basically what you want to do is you want to hit him with heavies to gain these fury buffs. And you can stack these fury buffs up to 10. Now we're at 4 right now, but they actually don't raise his attack very much. I mean, it's not like Mordo, so if you stack them to 10, you're going to do insane damage. That's not the case here with Night Thrasher, and that kind of... I'm not a big fan of that, but if you are getting into long fights with him, you're going to want to stack them right away to do as much damage as you can, since they are permanent and they don't go away, but they really don't seem to do that much. Alright, so now let's skip down here to his special attacks and go down to his special attack 3. And so this inflicts a passive debilitate, extending the duration of all debuffs by 75% for 45 seconds, and it refreshes all active gadget debuffs with extended duration. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So if you've got a bunch of gadget debuffs on there and they're about to expire and you're at your special 3, drop your special 3. Not only will it refresh those debuffs, but then it will add an extended amount of time onto them. So that's kind of important, and it's going to help you out a lot, especially if you're able to get a ton of gadget debuffs on them. Alright, so now let's go up here and look at his passive attack. So Night Thrasher's advanced combat suit grants him immunity to incinerate effects, which is so awesome. And he also has X physical resistance. So So that's pretty great too. Night Thrasher gains X critical damage rating for each unique debuff on his opponent. This ability is not affected by ability accuracy reduction. Now, so this is pretty interesting because these little debuffs that you put on them, oh, I forgot what I was going to say there. Anyway, so you can put, the debuffs you can put on them are Shock or Incinerate, and that comes off of the Special 1 attack, and that's based on, you know, how you go at the opponent for the Special 1. And this is where you kind of wants to depend on whether you want to inflict an Incinerate first or a Shock first or vice versa, because there is a way to get your Special 1 back really quick. So basically, Night Thrasher uses the Shock Baton to inflict shock, dealing X energy damage over X seconds. If this attack is activated after striking with a light attack, Night Thrasher instead uses the Smoke Capsule gadget, inflicting Disorient, which reduces enemy defensive ability accuracy by 50% and lowers the opponent's block proficiency by 50% for 12 seconds, which is pretty awesome. Now, if this attack is activated after striking a medium attack, Night Thrasher instead uses the Explosive gadget, inflicting Incinerate, removing perfect block chance, decreasing the opponent's block proficiency by 50%, and dealing X energy damage over 12 seconds. So that's pretty interesting too. And if you go in just balls to the wall when they're dashing at you and throw a special attack, you're going to incinerate. You're going to inflict that shock. So now you can get a special bar, you can get a bar of power really quick. Now remember how I said that? So well-timed blocks and successful dodges grant 5% of max power, while Night Thrasher is under 1 bar of power. So basically, you can get a bar of power without even touching the opponent. Alright, so now let's talk about the Special 2. And I don't really think I'm going to use this one that much. It grants this Night Thrasher a precision buff, increasing critical rating by X for each unique debuff effect on the opponent for 10 seconds. So I don't really think that one's that useful. So let's go ahead and take a look at his unique synergies. So he's got a pretty good one here with Moon Knight and Punisher, where medium attacks have a 30% chance to inflict bleed, dealing 50% of base attack as direct damage over 3 seconds. And as the moon waxes, the chance to bleed on medium attacks is increased to 100%. So that's pretty good. This one here with Guillotine, contest teammates, critical hits have a 50% chance to inflict bleed, dealing 70% attack as direct damage over 4.5 seconds. So, you know, both of those are bleed synergies, which is great because I don't think he actually has bleed without those synergies. And this last one here, this tactical training with Cap Infinity War, Cyclops, and Star-Lord, well-timed blocks have a 50% chance to apply a Disorient debuff for 3 seconds. So that's pretty awesome. There's also another synergy that he doesn't have as a 3-star, but he does as a 5-star, and that's with Ghost Rider. And this one is pretty cool. I wish it was available with a 3-star. But that synergy is that Night Thrasher becomes unstoppable and dashing as he's dashing towards the enemy, which is kind of like what we've seen in this event quest. But an interesting one here is with Ghost Rider, as the duration of bleed, Fate Seal, and Damnation are all increased by 40%. So if anything, Night Thrasher might actually be another great synergy champ, just like Aegon and the Champ were to buff Sentry. So not that Ghost Rider really needs it, but he would be another great synergy champ for Ghost Rider. And so, so as you can see here, we got a ton of debuffs up. You can keep them up with the Special 3, so they last longer, but it is a lot of work to keep up these debuffs. So, you know, that's kind of problem there. One of the last things I did want to talk about is this Skateboard Attack. So, basically, champions of the contest never see the skateboard coming. Attacks using the skateboard have true accuracy, ignoring all evade and auto block effects. So I actually tried this out on Mcoc, and it works can't block me. I tried it out on Medusa as well, and it does work against her auto block. However, it doesn't remove her fury, so I don't know how useful it would be with her. So what are my final thoughts on Night Thrasher? Well, I think he's just a meh champ. Like, he's not the greatest, he's not the worst, he's just meh. I know I don't have him as a 5-star, but apparently a lot of people in the community agree with me because he didn't go for very much in the arena. He's just one of those champs, I don't know, I'm just not a fan of. I don't think he would be useful in attack, in war attack. I don't think he'd be that great in questing. It just takes too long to get all of his fury stacks up and then put your debuffs on the opponent, and they still don't seem to be doing that much damage. Maybe there would be a node in defense that you could put him on. Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like you have to go through such rigmarole with him. The only thing I could see him being useful for is synergies. So if you have him as a 5-star and you have Ghost Rider, to put him on your team with Ghost Rider in an event quest. But that's the only real thing that I can think of. I like his animations. I think they're cool. The skateboard's kind of fun. But that's my opinion on him. That's all that I have. Let me know what you guys think of him, if you've played around with him at all. Let me know if I missed anything. I could have very well missed something. Remember, I just have him as a 3-star. I don't have him as a 5-star. So that's all that I got. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks, guys.